you know, when I think about your story, the obvious question comes up. If there's a God, if there's some deity, or if I've derived from some primordial soup with going nowhere, if I mean nothing, nothing's relevant. If all that's true, then all this is kind of irrelevant. We're here for a few years, it doesn't matter. But if there is a God, then he has to answer for this. I mean, why me? Why this leg? I mean, obviously you've been prayed for 1,000 times, and he didn't heal it. And where does that, I mean, as you kind of work through this, because I know you're a man of faith, when you work through this, where does that leave you? Was there a breakthrough in your thinking on this? Was there times that, like the psalmist, that you kind of almost wanted to shake your fist at God? I mean,
yeah. Yeah, all the above. I grew up in a Christian home. My story of faith is pretty, I'd say, consistent with a lot of people in America that grew up in a Christian home, and I accepted the Lord Jesus into my life at a young age. Didn't really know what that meant to the full extent. But when I was a teenager growing up, I started to realize, man, my leg really hurts and it's different. And so I would pray every night, Lord, heal my leg, and he never did. And it wasn't the biggest thing in the world, but it also kind of stuck in the back of my head, like, you know, why me? Why am I different this way? And I was in college, actually, and a girlfriend of mine had pointed out some Bible verses that kind of struck me. One was John chapter 9. I'll share it with you. It's just basically that Jesus and his disciples were walking along, and they saw this man who was born blind. And the disciples asked the Lord, they're like, look, did he sin or did his parents sin that this happened? And Jesus said, no, it wasn't because of sin that this happened. This happened so that the work of God would be displayed in his life. And Jesus went on to open that man's eyes and heal him. And so my eyes, in a sense, I say, were open in a sense. I wasn't healed, but I felt like, okay, I didn't necessarily do anything to deserve it or not deserve it. God allowed it to happen in my life, and that somehow God was going to work through it. He took responsibility for it, and he was going to work through my leg. And so I remember back in college just going, Lord, you know, my life is yours and my leg is yours, and you can do, you know, whatever you're going to do. I'm pretty limited, but you're strong and you can do whatever so here you go. And so I didn't know what that meant, but as you see it kind of unfold, I've had, you know, obviously a lot of trials with it, but God's been incredibly faithful just to allow me to play a sport for a living, to grant me some success, to lead me through the whole court situation. You know, I'd never anticipated that coming, but looking back, I see, you know, a loving hand of the Lord lead me through it. So, as I said, I would have loved to have been healed. I'd love to, you know, jump up and do cartwheels and say, you know, I'm healed. It's not, and I'm fine with that. I mean, you know, just recognizing that God was going to work in it. So I think he has, but there's also other areas of my life that I don't have as much peace in a sense about my leg. I've always kind of had a peace about it, you know, but there's other areas where I do. I shake my fist at God all the time, like this doesn't make sense, you know. And so, but then you realize, you know, I don't know that much. When you're going through that period of time and shaking your fist at God, which I've done even somewhat recently, you know, you don't feel great about it. But I think it's born out of trying to go deep with the Lord, not just having superficial, just kind of hey, I'll go to church once a week and just kind of coast. I want to know him and I want to serve him, but sometimes I wrestle with his promises and how they're going to flesh out, and sometimes I don't think, you know, I think it could happen a little quicker, you know, or something. So yeah, I've been through it, and it's funny though. It's amazing. There's some areas of my life that I really just don't struggle nearly as much as others, and I don't have to get into all my deep dark secrets. But you know, my leg, it sucks most of the time. It hurts, but I have a peace about it, you know, and I know that God's a creator, and this is what I got, and he's been faithful to provide for me. So this world isn't all it's cracked up to be, and it's not supposed to be. You know, I think we're designed for eternity, and God's preparing us. And if this life were perfect, I would have no desire to go to a better place, and I would be trying to make this really, really cool and the best. And now it's not that I don't want a great life, but I'm sort of giving up the dream that everything's going to be perfect. You know, and recognizing that, you know what, something is coming down the pipe much better, and I can wait for that.